Our final game, guys, the 49ers handled business against Arizona. No surprise on the back of that man. No, not Matthew Berry, but Christian McCaffrey. 18 carries, 115 yards. You do look alike. And a touchdown, 5 catches, 72 receiving yards, and 2 touchdowns. That's what he's done all year.
This is just a stupid game. I mean, he's the only player this year with 41 or more fantasy points multiple times this season. Shout out to all the fantasy managers who said, nah, I want Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase instead of Christian McCaffrey. Look, I mean, I'll own it. I had him at number 2 overall in my rankings, but I saw him go as 5 or 6 in some leagues easily. He's stayed healthy. He's proven why he's Christian McCaffrey, why he's fantasy royalty. I'm wearing this to honor our one true king. He's been ridiculous. I mean, it's just here's what's the other thing that's crazy about that game. It all felt, I mean, I get it. It's Arizona. But still, it felt effortless.
It is.
It felt effortless.
This team just scores automatically every time they go down the field. This is one of the greatest offenses of all time. And just everyone helps each other. Ayuk and Debo being there, that helps Brock. It helps Kittle. It helps CMC. And they have the best play caller in the NFL, maybe the best coach in the NFL. And also, it wasn't so much the case yesterday because it's the Cardinals, and I don't think they were fully engaged on defense from the start. But they've also got a top 5 defense in the NFL, so they get the ball back quickly and they go down and score again. It feels like you need a miracle to stop these guys 2 times in a row.
It's so weird because he does not run, Brock Purdy. And yet, since week 10, he's the second best quarterback in fantasy football. He's had back-to-back games now with 4 touchdown passes. Again, it just feels effortless. They're at home to Baltimore this weekend, so that's going to be a real test. Luckily, the game is in San Francisco. I feel better about the Niners at home than I do about the Ravens on the road in this one, but that's going to be a huge game.
Maybe a Super Bowl preview. And while Brock Purdy,
I think it should be, honestly.
Brock Purdy's been great. Christian McCaffrey has been the fantasy MVP, but Brock Purdy talked about CMC's actual MVP case after the game.
Dude, I think Christian should be MVP. I really do believe that. You know, he does everything for us, runs the ball well, can catch the ball. He does everything. And so, in my eyes, that's an MVP.
There's talk of Brock could be MVP and Christian could be MVP.
I know you're not asking me that question. Well, you might as well go to the next one. You're not about to put me in that one. We got the best running back in the NFL, so for him to get MVP consideration, I mean, I think that's his just due. And same way with Brock. Brock's been playing his butt off, so for him to be in a conversation out there as a teammate, I couldn't be more proud of both of these guys.
Trent Williams is the mountain from Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
He's a large human.
You know what's interesting is he used to be a commander. Trent Williams
he was.
did.
Quite
he
good
was
when he
a
was
commander,
with them.
and it's only because Dan Snider, the worst owner in professional sports history, enabled Bruce Allen, the worst general manager in professional sports history, for years and years and years, despite no evidence to do so other than the fact that they were drinking and golfing buddies. And I guess, Allen had all these racist emails that he didn't want out there. And so as a result, he so destroyed, Bruce Allen did, because he was enabled by Dan Snider, so destroyed the relationship with Trent Williams that he completely killed the value of Trent Williams and had to basically give him away, the best left tackle in football, for a 3rd and a 5th to the 49ers. By the way, they also gave Chase Young to the Niners for a conditional third. For a conditional third, which is going to be really late. I mean, because the Niners are going to have one of the worst draft picks in the NFL this year because they're one of the best teams. And so Dan Snider is the gift that just keeps on giving and giving and giving. And that's, by the way, that's who you heard from. You heard from Trent Williams being asked about Christian McCaffrey or Brock Purdy's MVP candidacy.
I'm just glad that 45% of segment 1 has been about the 4-10 Commanders after their nondescript 28-20 loss to the Los Angeles Rams yesterday. It's when you find it's an MVP performance from you, Matthew Berry.
Thank you very much. A lot of people are like, wow, fantasy playoffs, so much is going on. There's no way he can turn this into him ranting about the Commanders again. And yet, that's the brilliance of me. That's the magic of me. That's my superpower, Jay Croucher. That's just much like whenever we're hanging out, the 3 of us, and you make everything about the Collinwood Magpies. I am able to do that about my Commanders.
Chris, you remembered their name. I remember the name of Brock Purdy, who is the MVP favorite now on DraftKings. Kind of a runaway favorite as we take a look at the MVP odds on DraftKings. where Purdy is minus 190, Dak Prescott plus 450, Lamar Jackson plus 500, Jalen Hurts plus 1,000. I don't think he's in this race right now. And then Christian McCaffrey at plus 1,200. And I think people are having a hard time coming to grips with the fact that Brock Purdy is a minus 190 MVP favorite. It's like people have a crusade against Purdy, wake up every morning, how am I going to hate Brock Purdy differently today? That's kind of the vibe, but I think we're at the point now where he is just so far ahead of the field in every statistical measure. Right now, his passer rating is 119. Tua is second at 106. His QBR is 76. Dak is second at 72.7. He is almost doubling second in EPA per play. He's first at .391, and Dak Prescott is .225. He has the best touchdown to interception ratio in the NFL, and beyond that, just watch the games. The throws that he's making, the touchdown pass to Debo, that is a 10 out of 10 NFL throw. He is not a game manager. He is not a dump-off guy. He is an elite NFL quarterback, and he's been the most productive and most valuable in the NFL this year.
Kudos to you, because you called Brock Purdy at plus money way back around as what you thought was a really good bet. I sort of feel like looking at those odds right now that if I had to place a bet on MVP right now, I think I might take Lamar at plus 500.
I agree.
Just because they're going to play next week, and if Lamar outduels Brock Purdy and the Ravens win that game, then I think Lamar becomes the favorite. I really think it's between those two guys, and I think this Saturday, the game this week is what's going to determine that race.
I 100% agree with that. I think that people are so desperate not to vote for Purdy that they're looking for an excuse, and Lamar will give people an out. If Lamar beats Purdy, and then he beats Miami the following week to clinch the 1 seed, and I make that about plus 350, that parlay, Lamar will win MVP, I think. And so I think that is a good bet at plus 500. I also think if Purdy wins, then I think it's done. And I think Purdy's MVP price should just be the San Francisco money line against Baltimore, which it basically is right now.
What's weird, though, and I don't know, can I ask a question? This is me. Sure. I don't actually know this, but I know you were Mr. Awards Market. Do the same people vote on multiple awards?
Yes, same people vote for every single award.
So to me, because I think this is interesting, because I do think that if Brock Purdy wins MVP, then I do think that, for example, Tyreek Hill wins Offensive Player of the Year. I don't think they're going to want to reward the Niners somehow.
Coach of the Year.
Whether it's Shanahan for Coach of the Year or McCaffrey for Offensive Player of the Year. Like, if Lamar wins MVP, McCaffrey gets Offensive Player of the Year, I think. But I feel like Tyreek will win Offensive Player of the Year if Purdy wins MVP, because they're going to want to reward the Niners, but they're not going to want to give it all to the Niners, because there's, again, if Tyreek Hill gets close to 2,000 after missing a game, Tyreek's got to,
Yeah, and if Tyreek and Lamar go off, then maybe Kyle Shanahan wins Coach of the Year.
Right.
But yeah, I don't think the Niners are getting shut out.
No, for sure not.
Let's take a look at the injuries we're tracking from Week 15. Jamar Chase with the shoulder. He has been designated as day-to-day. Michael Pittman and Trevor Lawrence are both in concussion protocol. Jaden Reed with a toe injury. We have Zach Moss with the arm injury. Will Levis.
He claims he's going to play through it. That just came through.
Okay.
But we'll see. We'll talk about that more tomorrow.
Will Levis has a sprained ankle. We'll see.
He also injured his shoulder,
through
apparently.
Yeah, Levis?
Zach
Moss. So Zach Moss is pretty banged up. Marquise Brown with the heel injury. Hunter Henry with a knee. Zay Jones with a hamstring. And poor Keaton Mitchell, he will be expected out for the year with a knee injury. So the exciting young running back with Baltimore, that's a big injury for them guys.
It really is. It's brutal, Keaton Mitchell, and so we'll talk more about the impact, but it'll be Gus Edwards and Justice Hill in Baltimore. One injury not mentioned there is Mitch Trubisky out with an ego. Mason Rudolph is going to start for the Steelers this weekend, Mike Tomlin announcing. So hurt ego there with Mitch Trubisky. He's lost his job to Mason Rudolph. Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com. And I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched. Or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest Roto-World fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.